Hello and welcome back to our final demonstration video for Chapter 6, which is differential analysis. In this video, we're going to be working on exercise 6-7, which is a sell or process further decision. I am on page 313, so please have your books opened and follow along with me as we go. Okay, so what we have here is Dorsey Company. They manufacture 3 products from a common input in a joint processing operation. Okay, let's pump the brakes there, right? What are they talking about? Well, what they're talking about is we have a product that, depending on the amount of processing that goes into that product, we might have different products, right? So let me give you an example. Think about crude oil, right? Well, we get a lot of products out of crude oil, right? We can refine crude oil to get gasoline, right? Well, basically petroleum, right? So what we're saying here is we're looking at something and we're saying, okay, should we sell it now or should we process it further? Let me give you a kind of a better example, right? Let's take logging, right? There's companies out there, they go out, they cut down trees, they harvest the wood, and they have to do something to the wood, right? Well, what they do is they say, okay, well, we have wood, right? We have all these trees cut down. What should we do with it, right? Should they make boards? Okay, so they process it and they make 2x4s, right? Or let's say 1x6s. They make big boards, right? Well, from that point, they can, once they harvest the trees, right? They can make a number of different products. Okay, they can make paper out of the wood, right? They could make well, 2x4s, 1x6s to use in construction, right? They could process the wood a little further, and they could ensure that the wood is good for furniture making, right? Or wood carving, whatever. The point is, we have a product that we produce, that we have one product. We reach a point where we can either sell it, meaning there's a market for that, the 2x4s, right? Or we can process further and make it a different product, right? So let me give you another example, right? 2x4s, okay? Well, we can get weatherized 2x4s or not weatherized 2x4s, right? So the point is, the company needs to stop and say, okay, should I sell it now or should I process it further to get more money, right? Or to generate maybe, hopefully, more sales, okay? So as we go through the problem, right, we're going to see that hopefully that should become more apparent, okay? So we have 3 products, product A, product B, product C, okay? I don't care what they are. It could be wood for all we care. It could be petroleum, whatever, okay? So they give us information on product A, product B, and product C, okay? They give us additional processing costs that we would incur, excuse me, and they give us the selling price that we would incur or we would earn if we processed further, okay? So what we need to do is figure out first, what is that incremental revenue, whether it be per pound, per gallon, whatever, okay? So we're going to calculate what that incremental revenue is. We're going to compare that incremental revenue with the incremental processing costs, okay? Again, the concept here is identical to what we've been doing. Conceptually, we want to figure out, what is that incremental revenue? What is that incremental cost? Do we have a financial advantage or do we have a financial disadvantage? Okay, so I'm on page 313 and I'm looking at the second chart, and they tell us that if we were to process further, right? We were going to take that that material and we're going to process it further. What selling price would we get? Well, for product A, we would get $20 per pound. Product B, we would get $13 per pound. And product C, we would get $32 per gallon. Okay? So again, what we have here is one product or one resource that we have. We can process it, get a selling price, or we can process it even further and get another selling price. Okay, so we're going to compare the selling price after further processing, and then we're going to enter in our information that tells us, hey, this is the selling price at the split off point, meaning at the split off point, we can either sell it or we can process that thing that we have more. We can do some further processing and get another selling price for it. Okay, so we got 16 bucks for A at the split off point. Product B, we have a $8 per pound selling price at the split off point. And product C, the selling price is $25 per gallon at the split off point. So all we need to do is take the difference between the two selling prices. That's it. So for A, I'm going to take the $20 selling price, which is after further processing, and I'm going to subtract the selling price at the split off point. I get $4. Okay? We're going to do that for each machine, or I'm sorry, for each product, right? Product A, product B, product C. So we can see that the incremental revenue for product A is $4. The incremental revenue for product B is $5. And the incremental revenue per gallon for product C is $7. Okay? We have the quarterly output for product A, product B, and product C. We're going to enter that, right? I didn't make up any numbers. This is coming from the problem. Okay? They tell us that the quarterly output for product A is 15,000 pounds. Bear with me here. Is 15,000 pounds. They tell us that the quarterly output for product B is 20,000 pounds. They tell us that the output for product C is 4,000 gallons. Okay? So we're going to take that, and we can figure out, bear with me here. Here we go. We can figure out what our total incremental revenue is. So total incremental revenue. All I need to do is to take my $4, which is the incremental revenue per pound of product A, and multiply it by the total quarterly output of product A. We get 60 grand. We do the same thing for products B and product C. I'm just going to click and drag down, right? Now, the problem also says, hey, if we were to process further, there's additional processing costs that we would incur, okay? Again, we're doing differential analysis here. What's the difference? Do I sell it at the split-off point, or do I process further and then sell it? Okay, so for that incremental processing costs for product A, they tell us it's 63,000. For product B, they tell us it's 80,000. And for product C, they tell us it's 36,000. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the incremental revenue that we would get if we processed further versus the costs or the additional costs incurred for processing further. So I'm going to take for product A, I'm going to take my $60,000, which is the total incremental revenue, and subtract out those additional costs, those incremental additional costs of 63,000. We get a negative 3,000. Okay? All I'm doing is clicking and dragging down to make sure that we get the same calculation for B. meaning it's going to take the $100,000 of total incremental revenue for product B and subtract out the total incremental processing costs for product B, which is 20. Okay? So that, my friends, is your answer to number 1. Now, number 2 asks us, based on your analysis in requirement 1, which product or products should be sold at the split-off point, and which product or product should be processed further? Well, we can see here that if we would process further for product A, we would have a $3,000 loss. Look at product C. If we processed further, we would have an $8,000 financial disadvantage. So, products A and C should be sold at the split-off point. Okay? Only product B should be processed further. Okay? And that, my friends, is how you do a sell or process further decision.